Hello guys, what's up? Hope so you all are doing well and watching my videos. If you are do so, please consider to subscribe and like my YouTube channel. Really encourages me to create more content for you guys just like this one. So finally we have done CSS. So you are almost there to be a web developer. But what we need is introduction to JavaScript. We need to learn a bit of JavaScript. Not a bit, well, full, but it's going to be quite easy and fun to learn JavaScript. JavaScript is a really great language to learn if you are going to become a web developer or you are in a field of web developer. You really need to learn JavaScript. So we have finished CSS and that's quite exciting. No one can believe it, but yes, you have finished CSS and now we are moving on to JavaScript. Very exciting. Now JavaScript is very fun to code. It's really great because sometimes it is a bit like you're gonna be like, why are we using this, why don't we use this? But as we move on, I'm going to explain everything to you. So, first of all, what is JavaScript? Now, I have discussed what is JavaScript in some of my videos. I'm going to put the link of them in the description box. But the simple words I will put on is JavaScript is used to create interactive effects within a web browser. Okay, so JavaScript is actually a programming language which actually helps you to create some interactive effects within the web browsers. Okay, browser. And what is special about it is it actually engages the user of your website. So if someone comes up and you have used some really great JavaScript, and there might something pop up like scroll down, something like this in JavaScript, you do some really great stuff in JavaScript, and it actually engages the user to the website. And the user is like, okay, I'm gonna keep scrolling, or I'm gonna keep looking for this website, I'm gonna see what is more in there, and it just really engages the user. Then why you should learn JavaScript at first place? So you have done HTML and CSS. Isn't that enough to be a web developer? No. Well, yeah, no. Because HTML, as I said, is just a skeleton. Okay? It's just like a skeleton. But when you add CSS, it looks beautiful. Okay? For example, over here, as you can see the background, if I would just leave a magnifying glass over there and nothing else, like no color or anything, it's not going to look good. But with the CSS, you can see it's looking a bit, it's looking good. Okay, so we have added CSS, it's looking beautiful, so the user is going to visit your website several times because it's cool, neat, and beautiful. CSS also helps you to make your website just clean and tidy, so there's no text going at the left and then right. Okay, but what does JavaScript do? Okay, why do you need JavaScript then if HTML and CSS does this stuff which can actually engage the user? So the most obvious reason for learning JavaScript is if you have hopes of becoming a web developer. JavaScript actually, as I said before, it actually engages the user into your website. It has lots of functions you can use to secure your website, to add interactive things, as I said over here. Okay, and it's actually really great to learn. You can't be a web developer by just doing HTML and CSS. Okay, everything has a step. So for example, you have learned HTML first, you have taken your first step. Second, you have learned a bit of CSS. That's the second step. And then the last step is JavaScript. Okay? No, this is the step. Okay, the last step is to create your own projects, to be able to create your own projects. Okay, and it's just that's the obvious reason. If you really want a real clear reason, if you have hopes of becoming a web developer. Okay, and it, as I said in my previous videos, JavaScript is really important. It's not optional. It's not like if you will do it, it will look good, or if you wouldn't do that, it would better. It would better. Okay. So, is JavaScript easy? Okay. Now, is JavaScript really easy? Okay. Most of the questions is JavaScript easy? Is it hard? Is it alright? Now, nothing is easy. First of all, I would say no. I'm not saying that you shouldn't do JavaScript because it's hard. It's not hard, but there are some stuff where you're gonna get confused. But it's really, I wouldn't say it's easy. I wouldn't say it's hard. I would say it's in the middle. Okay, if you will learn it, you're gonna find it easy. But if you wouldn't learn it, you're obviously going to find it hard. If you don't know about HTML, you're going to find HTML hard. And you're going to be like, what are you talking about? HTML is easy. But if someone hasn't done HTML, they don't know anything about HTML, how they're supposed to do it, how they're supposed to know about HTML. It's just like if there's a car and you ask someone like who don't know anything about driving to drive the car. It's just like putting yourself in danger, because if someone doesn't know how to drive a car and you're asking them to drive the car, and there's the driver that crash. So it's just like that, okay? Everything you have to learn something to become something. To become someone. For example, if you want to become a web developer, you can't just watch a web developer coding and then you for 8 hours, let's just say, and then you will be like, yes, I'm a web developer. No, you have to learn it. Okay, every web developer learns how to be a developer, just like every driver learns how to drive a car. Okay, so over here I would say JavaScript is in the middle. If you would learn it, it'll be easy. If you wouldn't learn it, of course it's going to be hard. Just like I gave you the example of a driver. Okay? And nobody's gonna hire you by just doing HTML and CSS. Okay? You can't just do HTML and CSS and you can be like, oh, I'm done with web development. I'm gonna go and get myself hired. For example, in a company if they need a website. Okay? They will ask you, have you done JavaScript? You'll be like, no, why do I need it? And they're going to be like, okay, then bye. Because JavaScript is really important. It's really important to use JavaScript in your website. And right now you're going to be like, okay, what should I code in JavaScript for my website if I don't need any JavaScript? But I'm pretty sure you do need JavaScript. Okay, and sometimes you will think that if I have created a website, what should I code for JavaScript in there? What is the need of the JavaScript in this website? Okay, and then when you will learn it completely, the JavaScript course, which we're just going to start, not today, but in another video, you're gonna be like, yes, I can use this. I learned this. I'm gonna use this to make my website more interactive, or my client's website more interactive. Okay? And yes, I would say that's that. And so good luck on starting your JavaScript course, and it will be quite fun doing JavaScript and playing around with the JavaScript code and just changing some stuff to something else. And yes, so I'm gonna see you in the next video while we're gonna code in JavaScript, just simple steps. Okay, and then we might also create a game in JavaScript. Okay, so yeah, that's about it for today's video. I'm gonna see you in my next video. Till then, bye bye, and good luck for your JavaScript course.